Alright, guess I go ahead start off this little segment right here by recapping some of the things I went over in the first two videos. Now, and I got some text to go along with it to read from Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. So now, like I was saying in the beginning, you can deal with, like I say, these deities and netters, as they call them in Kemet, and all these mythological characters and figures or whatever. Pretty much, they represent, like I was saying, certain processes, creative processes that pretty much took place in order for the physical world to come into existence. This right here, like I said, this is the masculine energy right here, the yang. This is the feminine energy, the darkness. Up here at the top, you have what you call the dark waters of noon, which is basically the top layers basically is where the physical land where we roam and reside at is gonna come into fruition. And but before the creation process took place, it was dark and void. Like I said, this is the top of the coin or whatever. Then I got this right here for the whirlwind. That's Shu. Like I said, you have Shu and Tefnut. Shu is the wind, Tefnut is the water. You got Tefnut and you got Nut. Nut is basically the star-spangled belly of the sky, the nighttime sky, the dark sky with the light from the stars illuminating the belly of it in Kemet. But we haven't got to that point yet. Well, I did in my in the last video when I showed you how the stars was casted into the depths of space or the abyss. That's what would be becoming the belly of Nut. Like I said, this right here would be the primordial point. This is the thought of everything that pretty much the idea of everything that's in physical existence or whatever all started at this point. And pretty much all this right here would be the thought forms. Now, light that was gonna be required to shape and form and mold the top layer. Like I said, the top layer is that's the melanated water. That's the swampy. It's like clay. It's like dark clay water. You know, all mixed together. That's why the waters had to be separated. So when the water separate, it's pretty much it's pure. It's a purification process where the water that's combined with the melanin in that melanin swamp whirlpool, as this light rises up, you know, penetrates the center, it starts to rise to the top. It purifies and causes a precipitation process, which where the water rises up out of the dark muds, melanin mud or whatever, and as it rises up here, it purifies and becomes pretty much that's why in the Bible it speaks about separating the dark waters from the light waters. Well, the dark waters is the melanated water. The light water is when the water precipitates from out of the melanin whirlpool or whatever, and basically goes into a purification process as it rises. Like I was saying in another video, this would be a rendition, or the sunrise will actually be a rendition of this, because this would be equivalent to, you know, this process of all the light coming from here, meeting the center and going up. That would be it happened before the creation of the sun that we see. So the sun that we see in the sky rising, the rising of the sun, the midday sun, and the sunset and the sun at midnight and all that we see, or the process that we go through, or call a day, a day turning into night, or whatnot. This process of the physical world being created, that the process of that we go through, or call a day, would be a rendition of the creation process of the whole universe, or whatever, with the earth being the ground zero, the center point. And like I said, you got the pregnant hippopotamus app, or the app, or the hippopotamus goddess. They use her to represent that's the pregnancy of the womb, pregnant with the ideal of the earth. They use her to represent that, because that little mound is reminiscent or resembles the voluptuousness, or the rotundness of the hippopotamus or whatever. And you see the light inside of it is pregnant with the light or whatever. And then you got Sebek. Sebek is like I said, it's a crocodile or alligator god or deity in Kemet, and they use that to represent seeing in the dark, because you know the alligator can see through the dark. So the seeing in the dark represents the light within the darkness. You know, the eye is a symbol of, or one of the things that the eye represents is the eye is a symbol of light. So they use the crocodile, the image of the crocodile as it flows through the water, with its eye above the water, you know, peeping everything out or whatever. That represents that symbol, it resembles the primordial point of how everything started in the center right here. So now, you know, everything is everything. So one way you can look at this is as the light impregnating the dark and giving birth to the physical, because you got your light or your solar phallic energy. You know, sperm is a rendition of solar phallic energy. So a sperm cell is equivalent to like a sun ray, you know. It's called solar phallic energy, the solar phallic light with the and when what happens is when the sperm impregnates the egg, the head and tail enters in, and it deposits a black ball or a dot within the egg. And then when the baby starts to develop, the uterine stage or whatnot, the spine unfolds from out of that black dot. That black dot's like it's a lima bean. It kind of so what it does is it fold over on itself, and a spine unfolds from out of it. And then along that spine you have 7 chakras which develop. But the first chakras, before the actual chakras that are the physical melanated clusters develop, when the finer when it unfolds, it's 7 areas of light, or it's 7 areas where the melanated the melanin clusters, or the chakra, or what we call chakras, are going to appear. But at first, it's nothing else. It's the first thing that's going to be on the actual spine is the light. That would be kind of like what you see right here. But anyway, what ended up happening is, like I said, you got all the light traveling from here to here to here, and as it's traveling, it's pushing up, and at seven particular points, and it's pushing up and creating mountains up here, which those 7 mountains, or those 7 mountain rings, because you know this is a circle up here. That's where you get the whole thing about the horns of the 7 horns, where the 10, I get to where the 10 come in at later on down the line, but we'll talk about the horns and the beast and all that. That's the horns, or the horns basically represent the mountains that's gonna be coming. That's why when you look at the Great Pyramid, you have the pyramid in the middle, then you have one right here at the center of the earth. With the three pyramids at Gaza, the 3 pyramids that correspond to Orion's belt, it symbolizes the whole process. So just like you have mountains on this side, and you have the center. When you go to Kemet, you have one pyramid on one side, one pyramid on the other side, and you have one in the middle. And if I'm not mistaken, the one in the middle is set off, kind of pushed back a little bit further than the other 2, which I think that would represent the pineal gland, because one pyramid would represent the left side, the left hemisphere of the brain, the other one would represent the right hemisphere of the brain, and then the middle point would symbolize the pineal gland, which sits at the base of the brain. That's probably why that one of them pushed back a little bit. So I'm gonna go through the process of what happened with like I was telling you about the money changing thing. The money changing thing in the Bible, even though it has many different meanings, because it's also eschatological. You know what I'm saying? It's eschatology, basically an end time event. So on one hand, the money changer thing is pretty much what symbolizes how Europeans or the white men or all the goddamn oppressors from whatever race, but you just sweep them up under however, you know, the goddamn quote unquote people that's supposed to run the world or whatever, how they pretty much made everything so materialistic that people value money over spirituality or whatever, and it trickles down to even with the music shit. You know what I'm saying? You look, that's one good example of it, because even though there's nothing wrong with making money off of music and entertainment or whatever, but when you compromise the integrity of the art, or you know, in the name of trying to make a dollar, that's why the art started getting watered down, and it's a you know, it's a deliberate process, because they didn't even took the music out of schools and shit I done heard. So it's like they really trying to get motherfuckers from even being able to tap in to using real instruments, and because you know all the electronic and digital shit is cool, but it ain't nothing like that. When you dealing with the real instruments, those you can really you can do shit. You can work with the little technological shit we got now and shit too. But when you dealing with the real instruments, even these, this is what this shit gonna each one of these when each one of your chakras, they all each one pertains to a certain musical note and all that. So when even when they talk about blowing the trumpets, I'll show you, you'll see once I go a little bit more into the process. But they know that those instruments, you get to fuck with the instruments, you can really, cause music is spiritual too. You can use music as a tool to uplift people spiritually or whatever, and it's best done with live instruments as opposed to all this digital shit we working with. That's why they try to get They get there, shit. They get motherfuckers away from even using their regular voice. This shit that became auto tune land and shit. Auto tune's cool too. That's Roger Troutman energy right there. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the ways he come through and do his thing. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but when it, you know, it's to the point now motherfuckers is coming out and you don't know if they can really sing or not because they've been auto tuned out the game and shit. So it's like, you know, people are winging it, and some of this shit sound cool. You know, it's a added on element. It's all good, but you know, it's really posing a hindrance to people getting back into that Mahalia Jackson type shit and really blowing. You know, Aretha Franklin. You know what I'm saying? We got good singers and shit coming out now, but it's, you know, we ain't really get them heavy hitters. But anyway, let me show you how the process go once again. I'm gonna recap a little bit from where I left off at. Now what's gonna happen is this right here. Once this here seal busts open or whatever, and all that melanin, the melanin starts to ooze down here and covers all that right there, this is gonna break. This right here is gonna shoot up and get sucked in by this vacuum. Now let me see something real quick. I want to see what this camera sitting at. Alright. So when this right here turns, when this right here finally fills up and he's a little dot in the middle and that black part right there, it's gonna be like a sperm cell. This here is gonna shoot up. It's gonna come. I know you can't see way up there, but it's gonna shoot. This is gonna be the highest one. This basically what you call the arm Kimin. The 8 is gonna be the this was really gonna be serious. This is gonna turn to the Star Series, and it's gonna go. These 7 are gonna raise up, but these 7 are gonna be still within what we would call the globe of the Earth. But this one's gonna sit outside the globe of the Earth. So it'll be once all these travel up here. This one would be a little higher up above those other 7. This would be like Ptah and his 7 Ali spirits, which go to which mold the earth. Now the one thing about Ptah is, but I said it earlier in the other video, Ptah is symbolized by the dung beetle, and he's associated with diamond. When you start dealing with different guilds, the guild that he symbolizes, or the crew that he is associated with, is miners. Those that dig, gold, motherfuckers that dig for treasures or whatever. That's one of the things he symbolizes, digging for treasure, or like speculatively speaking, he symbolized digging through the darkness, or going into the ignorance and bringing the light out, or going into the darkness and bringing the light out, or going into something that you may not know of and figuring it out or whatever. But in this case, in Creation Earth, Ptah's gonna be dealing with the hollowing out of a mental. Now, before we get to that, let me break the process down, and I go into the mental thing. But like I said, this one's gonna shoot up, and when this one shoots up, it's gonna leave a copy, pretty much a copy of itself right here, with it's gonna leave a copy of itself right here with a little piece of tailbone sticking out. So it'll look like, let me see, make sure this camera I want it to be there. Yeah. So it would look like this right here, with the other 7 coming down, So this would be the pattern that is left behind with the tailbone right there, and this circular energy would be this one right here. And then when this one goes up into here, it's gonna go up and it's gonna be an exchange. It's gonna go up and go through that center right here. This ball of energy is gonna basically constrict and go through here. And when it goes through here, it's gonna go through this little tube because when this one shot up, it's gonna leave a vine. This the trailblazer right here. It's gonna leave a vine. Cause this going up will end up right here. So it'll leave a vine shooting down here for all these to come through the middle point and slide up. So when this one comes up and goes through there, it's gonna go through the center and it's gonna shoot through that vine and it's gonna come up and it's gonna be a melanin cluster right here, following under that one with the dot in the middle. And that, like I said, that's gonna go through the middle and constrict, and then all the energy around it, because it's like the Kundalini energy around it. You got the energy going through the middle, and you got the two serpents on the side, but the energy that's coming up on the sides, it's gonna be the energy that's flanking. This is gonna be the energy that's going over everything. This energy is gonna be going in the center to come up through here, but then you're gonna have the light that's coming up right here, going over the back of the melanin cluster that's coming down. So once this one go up and shoots up here, you'll have this right here. You have another one at the center right here, and then since when this one goes up, this ball of melanin is gonna push down. So it'll be the center point, the melanin, the cluster of melanin that pushed down in exchange with this one that went up. So you have that, then the new tailbone that comes in the middle between them two, and then, like I said, this part here pushes down. So now this right here would be right here, and then you had other 7 or other 6 go through and do the same thing. And like I said, for each one that goes up here, it's gonna, like, this is gonna be the light. Up here it's gonna be like ether. It's gonna be real. This part up here would look like down here, everything's coming down here is gonna be like solid. Everything up here is gonna be like a wet ether, like it's gonna look like a ghost, or faint. You know what I'm saying? It's look more spiritual up here. So you'll have the melanin, you had the light coming through the center, shooting up here and taking on the suit, because like I said, in order for these to travel up here, they have to encapsulate in a ball of melanin, and that ball of melanin surrounding it is what's going to protect the light from going out due to all of the moisture surrounding it, the dark moisture or the process or whatever. So and then down here, this is gonna keep pushing down. Each melanin cluster gonna come down and push down on each other. So the next one that come after this one is gonna push down and push this one. Like when this one go up through here, another melanin cluster is gonna push down, and then push this one down. And it's gonna be basically a chain reaction or whatever. And like I said, the ones down here are gonna be basically balls of oozy melanin with particles of light sprinkled over the top. So get the other slide real quick. shit. Alright, so now shit. When all seven make the little flip or whatever, this is what you'll have. Because the ones that came down here, like I was saying, you had the melanin balls that was oozing down here and pushing down on their spine. Then you also had, just like the light that came from the bottom and spilled over to the top, you had melanin that was coming out, that was oozing out through the edges too, and coming out here and pushing down and creating pretty much going down here and creating what would later on become to be the soil of the earth or the underworld or a mental. So for each one of these melanin balls that came down, you had these layers of melanin that oozed down, and the melanin that oozed down, oozed from the center and pushed out. So you had the melanin that was coming down the center on top of the spine, because like I was saying, that ash, the interaction between the light coming up and the melanin coming down created that ash, and that ash became a spine. When they speak about like I was saying, when they speak about Sodom and Gomorrah, they say she looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. Her looking back symbolizes the light was going up, but the melanin was coming down. So the melanin or the darkness would be the feminine, and then her husband would be the light. So the light going up, and she looked back or went down, and that the him looking forward and him keeping going forward and her looking back is what created the that's why I put emphasis on her looking back. It created the that process, that with that part in the Bible basically symbolized how the spine was created from the reaction between the melanin going up, the melanin coming down and the light going up. That heat and the friction from that created that ash right here in the center, where the most concentrated point was there, and that ash being compact by the melanin which it was going through is what like I say, the more pressure you put on a diamond, the harder it becomes. It's the same thing with that ash that became the spine, or what would become the backbone of Osiris. The melanin in which that it was surrounded by, the pressure was putting on it, made it firm or whatnot. So and you'd have like I said, due to the fact that the light was going up, all the melanin that was coming down, the light that was going up pretty much rolled on the back. So some of the light wouldn't go up. Instead of going up, some of the light would come back down because it would be attached to the melanin that was oozing down here from coming in contact with it at the center point. So all the melanin that was coming down, the light that was going up was the light that wasn't going through the center and coming up here to take on the suit. It was coating the top of the melanin that was coming down here, and that's why and then these each how when you're dealing with stones and crystals, each crystal corresponds to a certain chakra. So where all your stones, diamonds, and jewels, and rubies, and all that shit is down here. You see, I got the light particles that eludes the gold itself. You have to go dig deep for the gold or whatever. And then, just like you had the waters, I got once you got all these right here down here, and then you got all these up here, and you got 7 going up, 7 coming down. the top would look like this. So this would be the top with all the light flooding, and that light would be shooting up, which would be the light you see right here. Because this right here would be the top. This the we looking at it, basically looking at it from a side view of the or as if you was to look at the side, look at the earth. Say we cut the earth in half, we was looking at it from a side view. This would be the side, the light would be going up, and this is how it would look on the top when everything was like this. Now, the blue flakes, and actually red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, indigo and violet. Roy G. Bill, each one of these down here, this would be the root chakra, this would be the sacral chakra, this would be the solar plex chakra, this would be the heart chakra, this would be the throat chakra, this would be the third eye chakra, this would be the crown chakra. And that would be like the pineal gland or the halo or whatever. And but up here, that's why when you look at Alice in Wonderland, when she go down that hole, she goes to the upside down world. When you come up here, it's like the upside down world, because up here, say if this was your head or whatever, this would be the top of your head, the pineal gland, and it'll be going all the way down to your root chakra. But up here, it's the flip side. So this would be the top of your head, and then it'll go all the way up, and this would be your root chakra right here. That's where you get the whole thing about the red-haired lady and the scarlet lady and the beast in Revelation, whatever, because this would be the root chakra or the red chakra up here, or another deity in Kimmy. You got what Joseph of the Bible comes from Yusuf, and that was a ass-headed deity in Kemet. Ayu is an ass-headed deity. Sif, Ayu son. Ayu is the Ayu Sif. Basically, is another name of the sun. The sun. That's where the word Jew comes from. Ayu. Before there was a J, they say J came from the letter I. So and you had what you call the Ayu, and another reason why it's fitting, because if you look at the IU, if you take an I and put it on the head, you take a U and put it on top of an I, it'll look like the top would look like it has two horns. The U would create two horns sitting on top of that I or whatever. And but the ass or the donkey, which is also associated with soot, also associated with soot, corresponds to the root chakra, the physicality of the world. But IU was a Christ deity though. It was but it pretty much symbolized what we're looking at now, the creation of the physical earth. But it's like one of the old deities or whatever. But the red-haired lady, this would be the man upright right here, but then up at the top, this would be the woman, and it's a flip-flop pretty much, because really this is supposed to be the head going on down, but just like this is the head just going on down, but up here you got the head, but it's going up, so it's a flip, and because instead of the root chakra is at the what we look at from this point as the top, but really the center is always supposed to be viewed as the top. That's more of an esoteric thing though. When you look at it in terms of esoteric, I know I know as we walk on this land, the top of the earth, or we really at the middle. But as we walk on this land, we look up and like, okay, that's the top or whatever. But in all actuality, the center, when you go into more esoteric viewpoint, the center is the top or whatever. But anyway, I got the blue flakes in there representing the water that's being precipitated out of that dark melanin whirlpool or whatever. That's the light waters being separated from the dark waters, and then this will be the yellow will be the light shooting up from right here. And so some of the words what happen is once you got 7 up here and you got 7 down here, when this one here comes up and then that last one down here pushes down, it cuts off right here. This part right here, because you know, in order for all these to exchange, it's a whole, it's pretty much an opening right here. But once that last one goes up, it goes up, and then this part of the stem right here breaks off from this circle and covers this up. That's where you get, that's one of the representations of Osiris being buried in a mental, because it's like that little last light part of a light left right there, or Osiris being trapped in the case or whatever. See, when they speak about they say Osiris was invited to a party and trapped in a they had a contest basically where they want to see who would fit in this case, this decorated case or whatever, and whoever fitted it perfectly was supposed to win it. So, you know, they tricked Osiris into it. That symbolizes what I was just showing you earlier, the light coming up and going to the top. When it comes up and going to the top right here, it's in the case or whatever. And then some of the ways you look at it, like I said, they say it's broken into 14 pieces. Well, the 14 pieces is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got it was split down the middle or whatever. So the splitting into the 14 basically symbolizes the like I said, when the light was beneath this and it came up to flood this right here, it came up and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's gonna retract 7 times. 7 plus 7 is 14 or whatever. That's one of the things that the body being cut up into 14 pieces represented or whatever. And not just even to take it outside of just a particular number, the whole concept of the body being broke apart symbolizes how when the light starts to retract, when the light slides from here, when this area right here, when all the light goes up into this, gets sucked into this little circle right here, all this is gonna turn dark, and then have sprinkles of part of the light that was left behind sprinkled out throughout it, sprinkled as if, so it'll be as if this little area of light that was once full is now gone, but it's gonna basically like this area of light right here was broke up and crumbled and left crumbled all throughout the darkness right here. And that same process is gonna take place when all that light that was concentrated here is gonna go from here to here and leave all this dark. So you're gonna have the most concentrated, this right here, the mountain that was right here, it's gonna be shaped and molded into whatever, you know, cut and carved out into whatever all the things that it was gonna be carved out into, and it's gonna be after the fiery workbench, they call them, finished carving and shaping it or whatever, it's gonna move on to the next one, leaving all this dark, and leaving behind seeds of light within everything that it just carved out or whatever. And that process is gonna continue all the way until the light gets up in here, gets right here, and that'll be where the light is most concentrated at, well, the most concentrated point of energy. And then all this will be just, it basically look like the Grand Canyon. You know how you got the canyons and you got the lowland where you have your mountains right here, and then all this that used to be the dark waters or whatever, it's gonna pretty much be empty and dry. Like, you know, it's gonna these points right here are gonna be high like mountains, and then these are gonna be like low like valleys or whatever. And it's since all the water is gonna be evaporated from out of there, this is where you get the whole concept of the drowning, the dragon of drought. Because once all that light goes and gets, because as this, like when all this right here retracts up in the hill, that's when let me see. When that light here, when all this light here retracts up into there, that'll be when this, see, because this will be from here to here. Yeah, so when all this light is retracting up in the hill, this will be when all this light will be going up in the air. Because like I said, that part that this is gonna cut off. And then this is gonna start sucking all these up into it, but it's gonna start with this one going into that one. So when all that light from here goes up to here, that's gonna be when all this light up in here is going up here, and as it's gonna be like a Pac-Man effect. This one will go up into that one, that 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 one will go up into that one, and that one will go up into that one. And then this one is going to finally be sucked up by the one that's sitting outside the globe. Now, what's going to happen is, as all that light is going up in the center, and all this light that's on the base, or at the base of the globe, or maybe at the top or whatever, when all this starts going back this way, all that water that was swirling around here in this whirlwind, which is represented basically by these blue little dots I got in there, all that water is going to follow the light to this edge, or to the edge of the circumference or whatever. So once all this light that's concentrated on this one right here shoots out and puts the stars out, because all this would be the triple blackness of space or whatever. Once all that light shoots out, all this light and all this light in the center shoots up, all the heat is gonna go outside the globe. So when this light here when that final point of light goes up in the hill, when the water try to follow it, it's gonna get stuck and freeze up because of the all the heat from the since all the light is retreated to the triple blackness of space. It's gonna cause all that water that was up in here and trapped up here to freeze, and that's what's gonna cause that's basically what's gonna create the moon. So you're gonna have all this light shoot out, and then all this light shoot up, and then that water's gonna get trapped and freeze. Now, the thing about that is, this is where it gets real interesting right here, because once all that light shoot out, uh, it's gonna shoot out. Once it shoot out the globe, uh, uh, it's pretty much gonna create a copy of these 7 rings. So it's gonna, when it shoot out here, it's gonna basically gonna be like an expansion of these 7 rings. But this is gonna be fixated as the Earth. But then it's gonna be, so it's gonna be like all 7 of these are gonna have another 7 that come out on the outside, and after that 7, you would have what would be the zodiac, or whatever, the stars of the zodiac or whatever. So you had a zodiac. So you had a zodiac, 7 rings, the Earth with the moon froze over it, and then the other 7 from the inner core, because all of the orbits of the planet, they all have a correspondence or existence within the physical Earth. But when all that light shoot out, that's what's gonna create. It's gonna cause the Earth to freeze. So you'll have the Earth with a frozen ice dome over it, and you have the Earth with the frozen ice dome over it, and that's where you get the whole word. Like, I'll go back to the Alice in Wonderland thing. That's where you get the whole word Alice from, because Al means star, and then ice is ice, Al ice. So when all that light shoots up here and goes up here, you're gonna have this bright star right here, and then you're gonna have the bright star sitting over that ice dome. Now, I remember when I was in middle school, I had came with this. Funny how this shit all come back around, cause I had a round where I said when I was using science class, and the teacher was breaking down how she basically breaking down how what makes rain, and she was saying how the friction from the moving droplets of water in the clouds is what creates electricity and causes lightning to strike. So I had a rhyme where I was like, I strike like lightning when the friction from moving droplets of water accumulate electrical charges. And